Alright, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Blake, the mobile mechanic. Today I'm here with a 2013 Nissan Altima S 2.5 liter, and I'm doing the rear brakes and rotors. First thing you need to go and do, jack it up, take tire off. The lug nut on here is a 21mm lug nut. It has a lock nut on it, so you'll have to use the lock nut. You don't want to put an impact on it, so you pre-brake it prior to ground. I've already pre-broken mine, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the tire off. Stay tuned for the next step. All right, so I went ahead and got the tire off. As you can see, tire's off. All right, so your next step is going to be to remove your caliper. All right, your caliper is a 14mm and a 14mm right here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove those. Stay tuned for the next step. Like I said, so this is a 14mm nut right here. This one's also going to be a 14mm. Yeah, they can get a little stuck. Put a little elbow grease. If you don't know what elbow grease is, you're not my kind of people. All right. One thing I want to say, make sure you clean your guide pins and put new grease. These are extremely important. Take this one out. Once again, clean your guide pins. Rubber top, correct? Over this bottom. All right, so take that off, take your brake pads off. All right, now we're going to remove your rotor bolts. All right, let me get you back here, get some light on for you. All right, so here's your rotor bolts right here. It's a 19mm here and here. All right, so you can't put a socket on right here. It's got this little detent, this little curve, so you got to put a wrench on it. All right, y'all stay tuned. I'll go ahead and take this off. That's what I like to do. I smack it like an impact. Don't go swinging all crazy. Oh, sorry about that. Don't go swinging all crazy on it. That's how you break stuff. Just put it on there, just like an impact. It'll shock it. Once you do that, then it's no problem for you to take it off. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove these bolts. I try to take the bottom, I try to take the top one out first. Make sure you don't lose your washer. And I need to break this one just a little bit more. I don't recommend using a ratcheting wrench, a combination wrench on here. Like I said, if you shock it, you impact it, you can break the gears and the teeth in it. I don't recommend that. All right, and then once you take your screws out, like I said, take your bracket off, your rotor, what I recommend. All right, take your hammer. Only smack on the side, on one side. Don't smack on both sides. When you smack on both sides, is what you're doing, whatever, release you get from this way and you hammer back here, you're just hammering it right back on. So I recommend just a couple of pumps. As you see, it came loose, and then one good two smacks on the rear. And as you see, it's off. Like And then, as with anything, clean. Make sure it's all clean. All that cleaned off. It'll dry away real quick. And then from there, take your new rotor. Take a new rotor. Slide it on. Clean it back off. Always make sure you keep it clean. They come from the factory with a rust preventer on there. It could actually cause harm to your brakes. It builds up gunk, grime, causes gas to get trapped in between the pad and the rotor itself. So just always clean it. You can get can of brake cleaner at any local parts store. They range from $2 to $3 a can. They're not very expensive. I buy all my stuff in bulk for the simple fact I go through this stuff like water. And then from here, we're going to reverse the process. You service your guide pins. Like I said earlier, you always want to keep these clean. Take the old grease off. Hit it with a little brake cleaner. Keep them clean. And then that's when you want to take your white lithium grease. But I'm going to do that after I put the bracket back on. I'm just cleaning and getting my pins ready. Alright. Always clean this off. Just remove any of that old dirt. You don't take it off, it's just going to build up. It's going to cause rust deposits, calciums. You're just going to shorten the life of your brakes. Alright, I'll put this back on. Put this on. Get the one bolt in. Get your next. There we go. And now it's caught. Alright, now when you're putting your rotor bolts in, I always recommend put as much torque on there as possible. Depending on the type of ratchet, there's several ways you can do that. Alright, if you have a flex head ratchet, like this one here. Alright, get it snug on here. Alright, and then take your jack. This is my jack handle. Can you see the image? Just take your jack handle. Get it lined up. Look at there. You got your breaker bar. Give it a couple good pulls and you're good to go. And then for this one here, another technique that you could do, take your wrench. Get your wrench on there. Get it as tight as you can. And the same process that I did when I removed it about impacting, do the same thing. Keep tension on it, smack it up. Don't get all crazy with it. Just a couple of good little nudges. Check my bottom one. This is my preferred method right here. And from here, take your brake pads. You see I have Molly lube on here. Put the Molly on. One thing I will tell you, there are left and right brake pads. Yeah, I know what you're saying. No, there's not. Yes, there is. I just learned myself today. I've been doing this for 15 years. Your squealer, right here, this always goes in the rear. Always. Slide your brake back on. Now we push your piston back in. That's a relatively easy, straightforward job. Take your old brake pad, sit it right there. Take your brake pad tool. There's several different models. This is just one I use when I'm doing rear brakes. Push that piston in. Don't go too fast. You can rupture it. All right. All right. Your bleeder valve is always going to point up. Remember that when you're putting your caliper back on. It'll always point up. Get your boot slid back in. Take your guide pins. Lithium grease. It prevents rust, keeps the moisture out, and it keeps it from seizing in. Slide it in and pump it. Transfer it to the other one. Like I said, you want them to move and slide. Right. Take your other guide pin, same thing. Now you don't want to over tighten the guide pins, but you do want them tight. Tighten them up. All right, that's tight. And then one last thing that I like to do, slide the boot back, give it just another dab of lithium grease. Like I said, that's going to prevent rust and moisture from building up inside here, and it's going to prolong your hardware and make it last longer. All right, everyone, this is how you do your brakes and rotors on a 2013 Nissan Altima S 2.5 liter. My name is Blake. Please like and subscribe to my channel. If you have any other questions, you could actually contact me at 404-997-9936. That is my shop number. Give me a call day or night.